awareness and perspective levels of all simultaneous mode third density incarnations of higher self energy. Copyright sign 2003 Leading Edge International Research Group. All rights reserved. The level tag refers to the amount of each level in any incarnation at any specific time. These can also alter during any incarnation. They also remain fixed during most low and mid levels because true progression is for advanced levels. If you are 98% low and 2% mid, that incarnation is considered low level. If you are 53% mid and 47% low, you are a mid-level incarnation. 5% low, 35% mid and 60% advanced is advanced level. You can see why it takes hundreds and hundreds of incarnations to proceed from 100% low to final level. Please keep in mind that the perspective level of the incarnation of your higher self energy that is using the body you are in for experience, in terms of perspective level, is irrelevant, since all your incarnations are of you, so enjoy the one you're having. It's one of many going on all at once, presuming your higher self is in simultaneous mode. If your higher self is having all these at once, what does it matter? The incarnational perspective spectrum you have at any one time is a composite of different aspects of your incarnational perspective which are at different levels. See again, the first paragraph at the top. Low-level perspective third density incarnations. Low incarnations are those when the spirit is totally body-ruled. The higher self chooses all genders and sexual orientations for the experiences of just being them. The higher self sets very few parameters for these basic incarnations. As with Monroe's incarnations, some of his stated low levels were to be born in the US, early 20th century, as a woman, Africa, and as an aggressive man, warrior. Time, as you can see from this, was of no consequence. Low-level incarnations deal with basic third-density experiences. Low levels are totally body-oriented. Some of these experiences include sex, basic physical needs, subsistence levels, fear-based religions, basic polarity functions and me-centered. Low levels, while very basic, are necessary to build mid-level experiences on. Low incarnations are just this, basic experiences. As basic experiences add to the higher self's experience pool, the parameters are increased. No longer is it sufficient just to be born in a certain location or gender, the desire is for even more set experiences. Breeding is rampant in low and mid-level incarnations. This is part of the process. Low incarnations are self-oriented and surrender to third-density, higher authorities. Religion becomes the opiate of the masses during low incarnations due to fears of non-existent, but believed to be existent deities. Polarities, light and dark, pull for allegiances here. Low levels tend to be the foot soldiers of polarities. Mid-level perspective third-density incarnations. Mid-level incarnations occur gradually as the higher self's needs become more complex and Shim desires greater experiences. Mid-levels learn from others, act in groups and look for conformity and traditions. There is fear of treading away from the group, of being different, while religion does move from fear-based to tradition-oriented during the mid-levels. Mid-levels will ignore spirituality for the false, anti-spirituality of religion. Mid-levels remain deaf to who they really are and prefer to give their power away, as in low levels, to non-existent deities and aliens posing as deities. Mid-levels' prime concerns are families, work, and genealogies, being their physical body's line. They greatly resist any changes to their routines that do not enhance their false beliefs. They are their bodies. Everyone else's opinions have great effect on them. Mid-level incarnations become more involved. Society's demands are significant to this level. Conformity sets in. Self-oriented is blended in with society demands. Mid-level is very concerned with others' opinions. Mid-levels seek conformity. Religious conformity is continued due to traditions more than blind fear belief. Mid-levels love to say how they keep up religious traditions. Fear of non-existent deities still continues, but more on the surface than deeply held. Even though in twilight years, mid-levels return to religion strongly, it's to hedge bets on what might follow impending incarnational ending. Mid-levels tend to thrive on restrictions and traditions. Many, in this era, long for the 1950s, an illusionary period of tradition. Southern states white Americans, however, long for the 1850s. When the higher self tires of the boring routine of mid-level incarnations, this will happen as the higher self is easily bored, and the spirit strains against the alien DNA commands. In the physical body, there is a pull to explore the psychic and other densities. This is far easier to ease into by choosing a series of female incarnations for this transition since the psychic left brain is most active in a female body. The female experiences into the psychic world allow the spirit to re-familiarize himself with the real you and the real worlds of higher densities. After becoming familiar with aspects of the psychic, the higher self will insist on using the more powerful male incarnations. This may start out as gay incarnations, since in gay bodies, certain alien DNA commands are shorted out and allow left brain to function equal with right. Once an advanced enough spirit is comfortable, male bodies are incarnated into advanced states. After this, the higher self will choose incarnations not based on gender, but on a growing list of parameters. Traditional religions are discarded with advancement. Spiritual religions have their pull, Wicca, for example. As the spirit advances, though, Shim realizes that no religion will do as they are all artificial controls that give away power to non-existent gods-goddesses. When this is realized and firmly grasped, The incarnation moves into very advanced states. Mid-levels start their transitions into advanced levels when belief and religion wavers and the limits of marriage begin to strain on them. They dip their toes into psychic realms. Tarot readings and astrology are two of the most popular routes into psychic realms. Once familiar and accepting of these systems and the world of the psychic, the percentage of advance begins to cause mid and low levels to decline with that individual higher self. The psychic and the spiritual become increasingly interesting to this transitional incarnation and curiosities become greater. Note: sequential mode incarnations, aliens and all the rest in this galaxy cannot progress by beyond a mid-level perspective. They cannot comprehend simultaneous mode incarnations, their own next step as their own higher selves evolve. Once, our higher selves were like theirs. Low advanced level perspective third density incarnations. Low advanced levels are those with a curiosity into the spiritual. Note, that is spiritual and not religious. Organized religious conformity belongs to the low and the mid levels. The main feature of low advanced is an active curiosity into topics forbidden by the organized religions of the low and mid stages of incarnation. Low advanced have an interest in psychic-related matters and will ask questions about them with genuine interest. What is different about this level and higher advanced is that this level does not really have any interest in personal development of their psychic talents. They can occasionally visit a tarot reader or astrologer or may not go beyond intellectual curiosity. Low advanced are continually torn between these developing interests and the deceptions of the game in regard to belief systems. The low advanced can identify themselves as a member of any organized religion, but in name only. They rarely, if ever, go to church. They can also identify themselves as atheists. This is part of the restlessness of the spirit and the need for change and progression. Low advance is the start of breaking away from the game and spiraling out of the game. There are loosely organized solitary religions that are part of the upper lower advanced lower mid advanced levels. Wicca and paganism are the most prominent. These belief systems have psychic development interwoven with their ancient beliefs of respect for nature and their one rule: as long as you don't harm anyone else, including yourself, do what you will. This is a combination step away from all organized religious beliefs, one-god or religions that are in place to attempt to keep you away from spiritual development. These levels no longer claim any connection to the game's organized religions, but yet they are not yet ready to move into higher advancement that needs no type of religion. These low advanced religions have strong thrusts into learning predictive methods and developing other psychic talents. While they encourage individuality, they still give away their power to external deities. The organized religions of the low and mid levels despise these religions. Those who manipulate the masses with organized religions know that these religions lead you away from their false beliefs and assist you in finding your higher self. The use of the control word, sin, is extremely popular by those seeking to control you. A sin is anything that you do that offends the control of the church. Sin, like karma, does not exist except if you believe it. Sin can be thought of as another word for independent experience. Mid-advanced level perspective third density incarnations. In the mid-advanced levels, one decides that they have had enough of the transitory solitary loosely organized religions. They have served their purpose in your progression. This may take several incarnations, but you are moving forward now and will not be held back. The reason why so many female incarnations exist in the mid-advanced levels is due to the female physical being more adaptable to learning the basics of psychic development. The incarnating spirits do better in psychic learning in female bodies. There are male incarnations in the mid-advanced levels as well. These are also more advanced spirits who will progress from mid to very advanced levels in one incarnation in most cases. Very advanced level perspective third density incarnations. When the higher self's incarnations have learned what is needed in psychic development via the female vehicle, Shim is then ready to merge the core learning from the female with the superior creative power of the male physical. While there are both males and females in the very advanced levels, the male physical is most formidable when occupied by a very advanced or final incarnating spirit. It is a step up to move one's psychic learning into a male body. If you have difficulty with that, you are still body-headed and see the body as more important than the spirit. The very advanced stages learn psychic talents easily. This is due to them having been successful in learning them in other lives during the mid-advanced levels. Discovery and reliance on your higher self is a characteristic of the very advanced level. Some, at this level, are quite adept at the psychic arts. Others choose to have different experiences. The very advanced levels are where there is a tremendous amount of exploration, discovery, and preparation for your final incarnation. The discoveries of your very advanced are directed, by the dominant incarnations, into the final incarnation for awakening. Dominant incarnations, every higher self has 3 or 4 of them, are always advanced incarnations, usually very advanced. The higher self sets these incarnations for specific purposes to bring certain traits into the final incarnation. Dominant incarnations have limited access to the higher self and do need in the higher self in order to compose the final incarnation. If a dominant incarnation is very psychic-oriented, this incarnation will have much input. With a minimally psychic dominant incarnation, the concern is not so great to that incarnation since Shim knows what input the incarnation has that the final needs and will be given. Dominant incarnations will carefully watch over the final incarnation until the final becomes awakened to who Shim is. Once the awakening has occurred, the dominants have finished their prime purposes. Final third density incarnation for each higher self awakened final third density incarnation. Awakened finals have no belief in any sort of religion, neither old nor new age, although they may before their awakening. The restlessness experienced by a final in awakening can send them into deep research on religion's belief systems, searching for truth. Once they realize that no religion has the truth necessary to progress, a spirituality emerges that only that person's higher self can show to the incarnation. Running with the spiritual thread given by the higher self, the incarnation awakens and looks at the world around himself with new eyes, seeing the game for what it is and desiring not to play any of the game that is not necessary. Power is not given away, but reclaimed. Finals know the only God is their own higher self, the true you. Many alien DNA commands weaken and fall, but the spirit still must pass through the filters of the human body. The higher self doesn't reach full potential until the final incarnation has died, thus releasing the higher self and permanently freeing him from the physical. The long journey through third density is over. Final incarnations are the omega of third density experiences. Finals have total access to all of the higher self's incarnations. Remember, all incarnations of that individual higher self are you. Low, mid and advanced incarnations are all you at different stages. These personalities are never lost. You do grow out of them, however. By the time you've reached final incarnation, your thoughts are constantly drawn to what is to come, as you know you are wrapping up a long process here in third density. When the final incarnation is finished, all incarnations from all time periods are simultaneously ended and their energies are pulled back into the higher self. The only one that remains active is the unique final incarnation. Once complete within the higher self, the improved, educated, experienced you moves to new experiences and vastly new locations. The journey of hundreds and hundreds of incarnations is over, but a new journey begins that will make the former one pale in comparison. This piece has nutshelled the incarnational transitions. Note that there is much more to the process than I've given you. Note also that your higher self decides your path and plan. You should not judge yourself based on the progress or assumed progress of others. This is not a competition nor a race. Everyone will win. Everyone will succeed. Be happy being you. Once the final incarnation has ended, the final becomes the completed higher self and then departs to a higher density as a single, complete being for new, vastly different experiences. Awareness and perspective levels of all simultaneous mode third density incarnations of higher self energy. Copyright sign 2003 Leading Edge International Research Group. All rights reserved.